Hey everyone, it is Willow. Welcome back. Comparison is the thief of joy, which is something that we have heard our whole entire lives. But it's extremely hard not to do that, not to compare yourself to other people in the society that we live in today. And honestly, there's only one way that I found out not to do so. One way that has worked for me to genuinely stop comparing myself to other people and to make peace with a lot of what I have, where I'm at, who I am, it all trickles down to self love. It really does at the end of the day. I first want to insert in here that I have my lip gloss with my microphone. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I have had so much trouble with audio and trying to figure out the right audio. But we're learning as we go, and I need to invest. I'm going to invest, but this is what we got for right now, and she works, okay? And I wanted a little something to hold because you know how when everyone has a microphone, they could hold something. So I was like, in today's video, I am going to clip my little microphone to my lip gloss, and we're gonna make it official. We're gonna make it somewhat official, is what I hope. When I was thinking about making this video, I was thinking about how society has been transforming over these past couple of months, right? There's so much surrounding it, and I'm seeing on TikTok so many parents speaking about how their young children are comparing themselves to 25, 27, 28-year olds, and they're asking for grown adult regimens to prevent wrinkles or things that like they are asking for skincare for like mature skin, and they're indulging in a lot of like behaviors that may result or stem from insecurities because of what they're seeing online. But the craziest thing about this is I don't think this is a topic that's new. Like, I don't think this is a topic that's like, wow, this is something that hasn't been around. It has been around. People for years have experienced insecurities in comparison to other people. But the way it has been heightened and kind of put on like a magnifying lens, like over these past few years, is insane. And as somebody who has now in their mid 20s and rediscovering who they are, but also trying to evolve to become the best version of myself, through a lot of these mentalities of growing and learning and evolving, comparison shows up all the time. And it's one of those things that can't really be shaken in the easiest way possible because it's so rooted from childhood and from your environment and little encounters that you come with across the way. So as I was thinking like, okay, what video do I want to record today? Or actually I was thinking this last night. I was like, what do I want to record? That was like one thing I was seeing a lot while like I was scrolling on TikTok. I was like, what the heck is kind of going on? I grew up as a dancer, and I also grew up as a younger sibling. So comparison is not very unfamiliar in my life. That instills some layers of comparison, but it was nothing ever too serious. You start to get around those like early adult years where life starts to get a little strange, right? You have people going off in so many different directions. You have people who are genuinely working straight out of college. You have some people who are not. You have people who are getting married, people who are having babies, starting families, people that are traveling the world, like just starting their nightlife journey. It is like so weird. You're all at a different pace. And even with your friends, I've noticed this so much with my friends. I have had the same group of girls and friends since I was like elementary school, and when I tell you, it is so strange how like we have all grown up and taken different routes and you get to see it, right? Like even if you can look at it like a sibling this way. You take different routes from your siblings, and like you guys are all in different places, especially at this age of like your mid 20s, early mid, and I guess your 20s just in general. It's like everybody's at their own space. It's strange because you're kind of like, where am I supposed to be? Right? At the end of the day, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and where you are at is perfect. Because you can look at other people and be like, wait, what is going on? Like, there are so many people, including myself, honestly, who I look at people my age that are having kids and I'm like, wait, guys, we are babies. We're babies. We shouldn't be having kids. And then I realized, like, no, we're not babies. Actually, we are full blown adults. We are grown adults. And yes, people are starting families and starting their lives in that way. But just because it's not for you doesn't mean that you're not in the right place. You know what I'm saying? However, what truly took me to the next level when it came down to comparison and comparing myself to other people, and like that day came where I was like, I've had enough. Like, this person is not better than me. I am not better than this person. And humility is where I need to stand. Let me take my step back. That day finally came after experiencing or really looking into the life that a lot of people live in real life versus in social on social media. We have the new era of influencers. This new era of influencers are very into showcasing the best moments of their life. And there are some influencers out there that are like, I'm showing you the real deal today and I'm going to be raw, authentic, and all the in between. And I love that. And you also have the influencers who are like, no, my content is my aesthetic. I have a specific aesthetic I make up for, and that's how what I portray on the internet. I have like a persona. And it's weird because I think back in the day, I used to be a YouTube kid. I used to watch YouTube all the time, all the YouTubers. And those YouTubers always used to be portraying a persona. They had a personality, just like the streamers do today and a lot of other people. And we know them based off of that personality. That doesn't mean that's who they are when they turn the camera off, okay? Because you don't have to be. And I think that is truly a really like weird concept to grasp, but it's so true. Just because you decide to create a character or persona for yourself online does not mean you have to be that person offline. And the person that you are offline does not have to be the person that you are online. You have the right to choose which path you want to take, especially when it comes to your content and creating content and what strategy you want to use to express art and creation. That's the power and beauty of art, right? But you look at that and you understand that, wow, a lot of people who are portraying some of the glitz and glams and the glamour and the amazing things on social media are not necessarily living that way in real life. You can see somebody who is like lost, I don't know. And obviously this is not to like shame anybody or to like say anything that's gonna trigger, but you have so many people online that are losing weight very quickly and um achieving their goals of what seems like in a very short period of time. That person may not be explaining the fact that they've been on a GLP-1 or that they've been on some type of weight loss journey. Maybe they're not eating the most nutrient dense foods that they should be eating, that their body should be getting. It's like this battle of kind of what is real and what is fake, and using your discernment to be able to understand that. But not everything is glitz and glam. And that's the one thing I had to tell myself, that even if it does come down to a regular person that you see on your everyday daily life, right? You look at this person and you're like, wow, I think this girl is so gorgeous, right? Like, I think this girl is so gorgeous. I think she has everything and more. But you don't know what goes on in her home life. You don't know what goes on in her private life in terms of like relation wise, how she truly feels about herself. There could be so many underlying insecurities and, mental battles that this person may deal with that you're not even aware of because they don't showcase that to you. And you wouldn't know unless you were that person, truly. When you are in the position where it's like somebody tells you, oh, you're so lucky to have this, right? I feel like we've all had somebody tell us like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to have this. And it's something that you look at as like, oh really, like you think so, like it's whatever. You look at it like that and somebody's like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky to have this, because we honestly are so easy to like point out things that we don't have. And when we don't have it, we want it. But when we get what we desire, sometimes it's not exactly what it seemed. Celebrity life is a good example of this. I feel like fame in general is a great example of this. Like, so many celebrities that live in the spotlight are like, I just wish, I could live a normal life and do normal things and walk to the store without getting recognized. But then you have people who, do live normal lives and are able to do that. They're like, and some people, die for fame. Like they want to be famous. And you're like, that stems from what you don't have, you want. So even this mentality, it kind of makes you think, like, why am I not appreciating the stuff that I have? Why am I not sitting here like, wow, no, I actually do live an amazing life. I am healthy. I am able to move my body. I actually look amazing. I look amazing for my age and where I'm at. And I love my hair and I love the things that I have. Why wouldn't you want to be so in love with everything in your life and with yourself when you realize that number one, nobody is perfect in terms of people are going through their own, like, you know what I'm saying? There are so many people in this world that are going through their own stuff, their own battles every single day. Life is not all glitz and glams and rainbows and sunshine and lightness all the time. There's polarity. There's lightness and darkness. Therefore, there's going to be polarity in everybody's life. Somebody can have something so amazing that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't come with some chaos, some disaster, some hard times, and some hard moments, you know? And I think that's a lot of the times of what we see on social media. We see the good part and we're like, wow, like this is amazing. But in reality, there was some hard times that went into being able to possess that or to have that or to obtain whatever it is that they currently have, to maintain it. There's some hardships that go into it. So it's like realizing that, like, wow, everybody is kind of going through their own stuff. And I'm not going to lie, it's like you are who you are, right? You know, or you're becoming aware and still growing and learning of some of the dark stuff in your life, right? And maybe you've become aware of it and learned how to manage it correctly and you found a good rhythm for yourself. Now, if you were to throw yourself into somebody else's shoes and you got to deal with the good that they got, but also the bad, how bad would you even really want it? I think sometimes we become so used to ourselves and like so self aware of like, okay, I got this going on, but I'm handling it and I'm working through it. That, like, if you got blessed with something that came with a lot of heavy obstacles, it may carry a load on you that you're not ready for. And that's what I think about a lot with other people in comparison. And yes, like you may look at this person and be like, wow, I wish I had X, Y, and Z. But you also don't know what their mentalities are like. You don't know what their insecurities are like. You don't know what it's like to live in their shoes. And if you did, you might not even want to be there, which is the craziest part. You're going to be like, wait, I want to go back to being me. So it's like, love it. Like, love yourself, love where you're at, love who you are. It obviously takes time, and it's not the easiest thing to do. But with practice, always comes mastery, and that's all life really is at the end of the day. The idea that we want what we can't have is so funny, but it's so true. And yeah, comparison, I guess we can say officially, it is the thief of joy. It really is. Because the more you sit here and you compare yourself to somebody else, you just miss the blessings that you have. Maybe even the blessings that somebody else is sitting there wishing that they had. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I think to expand abundance in life, you have to be willing to love everything that you currently already have, the good and the bad. And that comes with just evolution and evolving your mentality, but also self-love. I feel like self-love was so rooted at the core of it. And like when I was thinking about this, because again, scrolling last night and seeing a lot of like moms talking about their children and little babies, by the way, like so young. You do not need a retinoid. I just got into that. I actually just got into retinoids and then I'm 25. But whoa, I'm not 25. I'm almost 25. Ugh, 6 more months. But like I'm 24. I need to calm down. Oh my gosh. But anyways, mid 20s, you get it. Um, but I just got into that. And I was like, wait, what is happening? We need to slow down. Because I think back to like that age and you're like, you had your insecurities as a child, of course. As you age, it's a little scarier. But is that age or is it the society we're in? And I guess we won't really know. But yeah, I feel like oftentimes I speak a lot on, the research and the knowledge that I have learned and that I've done. But also, I feel like it feels so different when I speak from a place of somewhere that I've overcome because it feels personal and it makes me feel like I know where you're at if you are watching this video and you do feel like you have a lot of comparison with other people. When I sit here and I teach and I do all the things, I love it so much. But I also think that there's so much space for community and to grow and learn together. And coming from a place that I've personally have grown from and that I use all of these videos, like everything that I do speak about, I remind myself whenever I feel myself slipping into those mentalities like no, we are not doing that. There's no point. There is no point. And also on this channel, what do we always talk about? We talk about abundance. And abundance can only come when you're being abundantful within yourself and to live such a beautiful and amazing life. And also, I'm not going to sit here and say that I was always this way. I feel like I came back to becoming this person. I definitely reached a point in my life where I was at this point, and then it some years took a little bit of a toll on me, and I'm just now getting back. Like I feel like I'm back to that person and really living in that truth and authenticity, and I think that is the most important thing ever. Everything is so important. Everything, every single time I edit my videos, I'm like, girl, everything is important. It really is, though. I promise. It really is. Don't battle too much with comparison. It's not worth it. It's not. Because you would never even really know if you wanted to switch lives with some of the people that you think you do. Just because you see the highlights of their life, the good moments. We don't see the bad. And we don't see the bad for a reason. Come on now. Alrighty. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for sitting here and chatting with me and talking. I will see you in another video, and I love you so much. Bye.